have something really good, a hot topic in the news this week. He's been charged with crime. This is a show where I try to educate real stories. Thank you for watching Truth and Justice with Vivian King. We have an amazing story tonight of identity theft. We have in the studio Dexter Evans, who is going to tell his story about being the victim of identity theft. I'm just meeting Dexter for the second time tonight, and he just got to briefly tell me his story. So we'll be learning this story tonight as we go along. But one of the things that Dexter gave me is a copy of the probable cause statement or the charges against a man named Edgar Linares, who was charged with false statement to obtain credit, in which he used Dexter's Social Security number. And I just, as an educational piece, want to read to you what a false statement to obtain credit charge sounds like. In the name and by the authority of the state of Texas, before me, the undersigned Assistant District Attorney of Harris County, Texas, this day appeared the undersigned affiant, and the affiant is going to be the police officer who took the statement from the victim, who under oath says that he has good reason to believe and does believe that Harris County, Texas, Edgar Linares, hereafter styled the defendant, on or about July 18, 2001, did then and there unlawfully, for the purpose of obtaining credit, namely a mortgage loan, intentionally and knowingly make a material, false, and misleading written statement, namely by providing a Social Security number on a mortgage loan he knew was not the defendant's, and the amount of the credit was at least $20,000 and less than $100,000. So someone stole Dexter Evans' identity and used it to make a purchase of a mortgage for under $100,000 and between $20,000 and $100,000. Wow, that's a big deal. Dexter, thank you for agreeing to come to the studio to tell us how a victim of identity theft feels.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's a truly interesting story. It's a story that it's a lot of victims of identity theft, but this particular case here is a unique case. It's it's an ongoing.
Let me just start off by saying this. Dexter, is 48. He's in Houston. He's never been in trouble before, and he works as a consultant in different areas. Political consultant. He's a grant writer, and so he's a man that's lived his life clean and honorably and is just very frustrated with the identity theft. And let me tell you this, we're gonna go through his case, but the defendant who did this to him was no-billed by a grand jury, and we'll get into that at the end. But anyway, tell me, how did you find out that Edgar Linares had used your Social Security number to make a false statement to get to buy a house?
Basically, way back in 2001, I had sold some of my property in Galveston, and I had walked off in Washington Mutual Bank.
Now, what do you mean what do you mean by Washington Mutual? What did Washington Mutual do? So you sold property in Galveston.
Right, through Stewart Title.
Okay.
And I was going to open up an account at Washington Mutual.
Gotcha.
And that was in 2001. And I went into the bank, and you know, it was like maybe $20-some thousand check, whatever. And they said I couldn't open up an account. And I was like, I've never had an account with you, you know? And so the bank manager came out and looked at the computer screen. I never will forget this. And I said, she said, well, you need to file a police report. I said, okay, I'll go file a police report. The police report was right behind the bank. I went to the police department to file.
Hold on. You said you tried to open an account at Washington
Right.
Mutual.
I was going to open an account at Washington Mutual.
And then you skipped to filing a police report. I missed
Well,
something
what
in the
happened
story.
was they said that somebody already had 3 accounts at the bank in 2001 off of me,
And what do you mean off of me?
off of my Social Security number.
Okay, so Washington Mutual
Right.
had 3 accounts
Opened
using your Social Security number.
Yes.
And how long have you had your Social Security number?
all my life.
I know for me, I got mine when I was 9. And so I'm just saying, did you get it in elementary school or did you get it as an adult?
I got mine for us. I know. I mean, when I was before 18, you know, I've had it all my life. You know, that's all I know.
Okay.
And it is my number.
Okay.
And so Washington Mutual, I went in, when they told me I had 3 accounts open, they said that they had to do an investigation. In the meanwhile, I went and filed a police report. When I filed a HPD police report, they
Hold on a minute. So you were trying to open this up in Galveston or in
no,
Houston?
here in Houston.
Okay, cool.
Right here in Houston. I won't name the branch, but it's, you know, but it was here in Houston, and the police said to go and ask Washington Mutual for those account numbers because they were legally mine because they had been opened with my Social Security number.
They're
Washington
they're not legally yours, okay?
Washington Mutual would not disclose that. They said to wait until they got the fraud investigation
Right,
report back. When the report came back, it was fraud and it was 3 accounts open, same individual. I filed a police report, and I started.
Did Washington Mutual turn that information over to HPD after they completed their report?
I don't know what they did.
Did they give it to you to turn in?
No, they sent me a letter in the mail saying it was fraud. That was it.
Okay.
And what my Washington, I started calling HPD, asking them, what are you going to do about this? Because at Washington Mutual, at the time being in 2001, now I didn't know, but the woman came and looks right at the screen at Washington Mutual and said, these people, she told me, she said, you may need to get another Social Security number. She said, because these people have a house, but they didn't get it from us.
Wow.
Now, I looked at it because I'm already mad, you know. I looked at it, I never will forget that. Fast forward, I go try to buy a house and probably...
Did you go get another Social Security number?
No, I haven't been
Why not?
Harris County was doing the investigation, and it's like, I'm calling them trying to check on it. It's like they were bouncing my case around, or they couldn't find the right people to solve it. The person that solved the case finally was Deputy Lindsay.
With the Sheriff's Department.
Right. He solved the case because he, you know, like I said, he solved it. It was a Deputy Cuevas that had the case that couldn't solve the case.
So that deputy, when you say deputy, so it went from Houston Police Department to the Sheriff's Department?
Yeah, to financial crimes. Yeah.
But why is it a different agency?
I don't know. HPD sent it. I don't know what happened. It
Because
started.
HPD has their own financial crimes.
Right.
division.
I thought so. I filed the original case with HPD, but I had been calling so much, it got to the problem. Every time you turn around, they're like, well, just finally, we'll get back with you. Next thing you know, this same case, then all of a sudden, in 05, I try to go buy a house. 05.
Let me make sure I'm clear. All this time, knowing someone used your Social Security number, you did not try to go get another Social Security number.
Or you mean try? I mean, I filed all the reports, and
No, that's not what I mean.
I didn't
I'm
know
sorry.
how to
Let me
get
ask you a
another
question
Social
again.
Security number.
Did you go to the Social Security office?
No, I called them. And then what the Social Security office told me, when I told them, they asked me had I filed a police report, and I told them yes. And they said, well, you know, get back with us with the outcome of the report. The outcome of the report just kept on going and going.
Right.
And going.
4 years, now you're trying to buy a house.
Right, and going and going and going. And I'm like, okay. So I said, well, you know, I'm calling every time you turn around. Well, we're working on it. We'll get back with you. Okay. Next thing I know, I try to go buy a house in 05. The person says, you can't buy a house on a first-time buyer because you already have a house.
Wow.
Now, that's 05. I said, oh, okay. He said, well, we try to, he said, try to find out what's going on. It's like the guy it's like 2 different separate credit files. He has his credit file with his name, date of birth, and my social. Then I have my credit file with my name and date of birth. So it's like I did a credit report not too long on me. It came up. I have no open accounts, but I have serious delinquencies.
Wow.
So that credit, it's very hard. Somebody asked me, how have I been damaged? You can't get contracts.
You can't do anything.
You can't. And if you're a grant writer, anybody who really know what a grant writer does, we are constantly, you're trying to find money from somebody who's going to trust you with a 500 credit score. Nobody. You can be an entrepreneur. You can be open. I mean, I've tried to do things on my own, but bottom line is your Social Security number access everything in your life. You do not buy a house with your name. You buy it with your credit, with your Social Security number. Nowadays, just like I said with my case, I believe not only are they using my name, they're using this, the whole family or whoever they say they are, and you don't know who they are. If you go to the DA and they file a charge and the man gets a no bill, then I have to call up the bondsman.
We're still at 2005.
Oh, yeah, 2000.
The charges were 2013, and I want you to go in chronological order.
We're coming up to we're coming up to 2010 or 2013.
So you tried to buy a house in 2005, and
Couldn't
you
do
couldn't
it.
under the
Couldn't do
first. You're trying to buy it under the first-time buyers program.
Right, exactly.
And you were declined because your credit, your Social Security number showed that someone already had a house in that number.
You're exactly right.
And so what did you do from that?
My realtor said, well, do this and do that, try to, and I'm like, okay. He said, well, just stay up on top of the police, So I stay up on top of the police. Then I had to do some work for the government and some under contract. Next thing you know, 3-4 years popped back. Then I finally hear back from Harris County again in 2010.
So for 5 years, you don't do it, nothing happens.
Nothing.
So Harris County responds to you in 2010.
Right. Deputy Cuevas calls me up. He can't solve the case. It takes him almost another 2 years. Then they call in Deputy D. Lindsay. D. Lindsay tells me, we didn't even solve the case. You solved the case. But he files the charges. Deputy Lindsay is on loan from a government agency to Harris County.
Okay, for financial crimes.
For financial crimes.
Okay. So he files charges.
Yeah. And the charges get no bill some kind of way.
Okay.
In 178 District Court, Judge Mendoza.
Right. But Judge Mendoza's court didn't do it, but it was his grand jury that did it.
Exactly.
Okay.
And what I'm trying to figure out, how is it a person gets a no bill that admits to a crime?
Well, did you ask the DA that presented your case to the grand jury?
I didn't ask the DA. The DA did call me, his hand on me or whatever. He called me, and they didn't, like I said, it was like, it wasn't nothing to it. And then when I looked at the docket sheet, then I see my full Social Security number on there. Anybody can pull that up. Anybody can pull that up online.
Wow.
So how can you investigate a crime, and you doing more harm to the victim by putting my number out there?
Right. That's true.
Yeah. And
that is true. That's not good. So what happened after that? So you find out they filed charges. Deputy Lindsay filed charges.
Deputy Lindsay filed charges, and what was unique about the situation, Deputy Lindsay's wife is a real estate agent. He said, I'm trying to figure out how did they close with all this? He said, how did they close? He said, surely when they did the credit report, your name doesn't sound nothing like his name. He said, this should have came up. Mm-hmm. He said, because that's the idea of having places that close, or the individual, the title of the company that closed these loans are well-known title company.
Right.
Here in Houston, are well-known.
What was it?
The name of the title company?
Yeah.
Ooh, Chicago Title.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it definitely sounds like something crooked all the way around. I mean, because I don't understand how someone would be able to close a loan with your Social Security number when it doesn't match your name.
There you go.
And was that house that he bought that's related to this crime in his name or your name?
It's in his name, but with my social.
I don't understand that either. Do you know if the bank, if the DA's office ever got that loan package? Like that.
Oh yeah, they got the loan package because it's right here on this disc. It's about 400 documents on this disc. They got the loan package.
So what name was on there?
It's his name, but my social.
But no one did it's not a credit check in there to see how they matched it?
Yeah, I don't know how they matched it. Like I said, it was just too much for me because I just got tired.
Right. I just want you to answer the question, though. I understand you're tired and frustrated, but I still want you to...
400 documents. Like I said...
Well, I'm not asking you to tell me the 400 documents. And it's a lot of documents, so I understand if you can't answer the question. But I just want you to, if you can, did you ever look for, on those documents, the actual credit report?
No, I didn't.
Okay. All right.
But like I said, It should
Okay,
be in there.
but I'm just saying, I'm just asking you that. It should be there, but I'm just asking, since you've had it for, this has been going on a long time, I just wanted to know if you saw that. Okay, so from there, so the charges get filed, the case gets no billed, the DA calls you, which is their procedure to call and say that a case got no billed. And then, so how did that make you feel?
It made me kind of have distrust in the legal system, because I'm trying to figure out, once again, how does someone that is illegal in this country doing criminal activity?
Well, how do you know he's illegal?
ICE. He was deported by ICE.
But how do you know that?
He says that.
Who says that?
He says it.
I mean, what does he say? Because I don't know what you're saying.
He says that basically he came to America illegal. He's from Guatemala, Central America.
Okay.
And he came here illegally. He admitted to everything.
Really?
Yes.
And how did he say he got the Social Security number then?
He never would say. He tried to say that this realtor had given him that Social Security number, but the realtor did. He said the realtor had put it on the credit application. That didn't. Yes, he tried to put it off on the realtor, but Harris County contacted that realtor. The realtor said she didn't have nothing to do with that, and it didn't make any sense anyway, because most people.
The realtors are not putting your Social Security number down. You do that.
Yeah, you do all that. You do that.
Right.
But just like they said, the realtor should have called it when she did the credit report also.
Well, the realtor doesn't do the credit report. The
But
mortgage
the
company
mortgage
does.
company does the
Yeah, the
credit
realtor
report.
just does the sales part. They don't do credit checks.
Yeah.
That's the lender that does the credit check. So the lender should have caught it.
Oh, definitely. And he definitely said it. He said, I don't understand this. But in his confession, he states that Wells Fargo was sending him letters saying that wasn't his Social Security number. But as long as you continue to pay on it, they never did anything. And he states that in his confession.
So today, as it stands, just to kind of cut through the chase for me, in my mind, have you gotten a new Social Security number?
No.
You've never done that?
I haven't got it yet.
So can I suggest to you that you spend some time going to the Social Security office and taking that file and the police report number,
Okay.
because I see the police report number is on this form.
Yes.
Okay, that's at least the one where they charge the person for using your fake ID, okay? Right. And then you should have a police report number from when you reported it.
Right.
Okay, so if you take all those police report numbers and say that you've been a victim to the Social Security office in person, they have to start the process of giving you a new identity. Okay, don't live with the fact that your identity has been stolen. You got to change it, and that's how you can change it. They might make you go to the sheriff's department and give your fingerprint, because this guy gave a fingerprint when he was arrested. Okay, so they'll know that your fingerprint is not the same fingerprint as his fingerprint that he gave with his Social Security number. Because you got to get a new one, because when he got arrested using this fake Social Security number, your number is in the National Crime Information System that could be affected by a lot of other things. So I'm telling you that you need to go to the Social Security office in person. There used to be one downtown on Smith, but it's my understanding that one's closed down. But you got to go in person and file this, okay? And it's probably in the Mickey Leland building or one of these federal buildings downtown, but you need to take all of this evidence with you. You need to make copies of it. You need to have a copy of that DVD, that report. This is the report this man got charged with, and you also need a copy to write down the police report number that was given to you by HPD to show the investigation and any documentation you might still have from Washington Mutual.
Oh, yes, I have it all.
But when you go to the Social Security office, they can access the police report. They can access, not the police report, but they can access credit reports and anything that happened with your Social Security number. Did he file taxes under your Social Security number? It's my understanding that sometimes when foreigners get these fake IDs, they do everything under your ID.
But
I don't know if that's true.
Like I said, he had, this guy is not just houses, but he had businesses. He was probably trying to file on the taxes under business taxes, because even on this, it was talking about how he had to file his business taxes. And I'm like, oh, God. I sent a thing to the IRS, and I can't file, like, what do you call it, like quick return? I can't do that because of, like I said, this.
Well, you need a new number.
I need a new number. I really do.
You need a new number, because this is not right, and this is not fair to you. Yeah. Tell me more about what you know about this.
Well, what's interesting about the case, once again, we get to the point where we don't get any help from Harris County, and we had to call a government agency to basically arrest this individual. The individual has money or ties to people that have a lot of money, because he didn't just buy one house. He has other businesses.
Wow.
And when I say he has other businesses, he has his hands in a lot. If you've ever heard, and you've probably heard of the T-Safe Act, have you heard of that?
No, sir, that has nothing to do with the criminal justice system.
Okay, the T-Safe Act is an act basically for all those that are doing owner finance. It's an act, but you have to do a credit report. No matter what, you have to do a credit report. This particular individual, once again, he has other properties. It's not just this one. He has other properties that other individuals that he was working with that basically were reaping the benefits. Just say you got a legal American company over here and you got illegals over here. I'm working with you and you working with me. And at the end of the day, you get ready to go to jail or something happens to you, then all of a sudden this property that you've been paying on or you have for years, you're giving it away for free. Who does that?
I don't know. Tell me how you found out about that.
The individual, I just started I was the one to start tracking him down because it seemed like Harris County wasn't doing their job, so I just started tracking and seeing what he had.
Right.
Whew. When I tell you, it's a lot. I mean, this man.
Did you ever try to report this to the Department of Justice?
I sent a copy of it. Yeah, I sent.
Whenever you do anything with law enforcement, you can't send copies. You can't. You have to go in person. You have to go. Every law enforcement agency has an intake division in which you need to go and write down a complaint in somebody's face, just like the Social Security office. You don't mail things because things get thrown in the trash, and you can't prove that you did it because they want to see you and your ID when you go and make a report. So no meaningful report will ever be made, audience or anybody, unless you do it in person. Even if you're making a complaint against a police officer, you have to do it in person. No one has time now with all of the identity theft, because whoever's mailing it could be the wrong person. So they don't know if that's you or not. So you got to go with your ID to any federal building to make any federal complaint, even the Social Security office. You have to take it to them.
And I greatly appreciate that information because...
You don't mail things to them. Because how do they know it's you? I mean, why would they act on it? Because you're saying someone faked you, and then now you're trying to mail something in the mail. You know what I mean? They're gonna throw that in the trash.
Okay. Well, I hadn't thought of it like that, but like I say, you're a board-certified criminal attorney, so you look at things and hear things different. And like I said, I was trying to help myself.
No, and I appreciate your tracking down this individual, because I would want to know who's using my identity also. So I can appreciate you trying to use every public free service that you can use to try to find out where he is.
Yeah, and what's sad about this whole situation, and this is going to be the kicker, I had LifeLock when this happened. LifeLock never told me now time.
Now tell me what LifeLock is.
LifeLock is supposed to protect you against identity theft.
Wow. So you had LifeLock since 2001?
Yes, I did.
And so did they pay you for it?
No, I called LifeLock up just to test the waters, and I was telling them, and I was making sure I had it at the time it happened. They said I had it, and I left it at that, and I was like, well, I don't really, LifeLock says, well, we have a, we can spend $1 million to get you right and all that, but these people beat LifeLock. These people, this is gonna sound crazy. These people, Homeland Security, all the major people, these are, like they said, financial terrorism. These people have a system on how to beat banks and financial institutions in the United States. This is not, everybody's, we're victims of identity theft. Okay, when somebody can take your social and go buy businesses and houses and stay under the radar, it's a problem. It's a real problem. When I got this and they no-bill this, I mailed a copy to Washington, D.C. because I was tired. And I'm like, and then everything is about money. If you can't use your social to go to the bank and get $1,000,
right?
How does that work? Then you got judges, you getting defaults. Then you go and a woman comes up, you go to small claims court to try to evict the people in the house.
Now when you say you did this, or this is hypothetical?
What's that?
When you say you go.
No, I went.
Well, you didn't say I.
Oh,
you said you. So I'm just trying to make sure
okay.
I understand who you is.
I went to small claims court to evict the person because the person is, like I said, he wasn't who he said he was. When ICE came and picked him up, I had contacted the bondsman that had originally bonded him out of jail. And I contacted this man and I asked him, why would you bond somebody out of jail that you don't know who they are? That puts my life at risk and your life at risk. So the bondsman comes up off the bond. He is a registered bondsman here in Harris County, a very good one, very powerful one. He didn't want to talk about it. I asked him for an affidavit because I knew I was going to have to deal with the JP again. The JP awarded me the house. 9 months after that, a lady said that she's his wife. He got married in 2011 through this same judge. And we get into a fight for the house. She says she has greater right to the house. Like I'm telling you, if you have greater right. And
This is the house you sold?
No, this is the house that he bought.
Who
The one he
bought?
bought in 2001.
Who is he?
Edgar Linares.
I thought he got deported.
He got deported. Now the wife comes into play.
Okay.
The wife, or at least said to be the wife, because when they did the background check, the marriage certificate has a total different name from the person that's been going to civil court.
So you evicted Edgar Linares from a house that's not
bought.
yours, but he bought it with your Social Security number.
Exactly.
But why would you do that?
Well, I went to the JP because I was getting all this stuff in the mail.
Okay.
You know, and I'm like, okay.
Stuff like what?
It was a lot of mail. It was like every time it was the taxes. I mean, everything was coming to it started coming. When he got deported, everything started coming. I didn't know, I'm
You
like,
still have all of that?
I might have some of it, yeah.
Because you still need to take that to the Social Security office.
Oh yeah, and
I can't believe
will.
with all the investigation that you done, you never thought about just Googling, if someone stole my identity, can I get a new Social Security
and I
number?
did. I called them, like you said, call them maybe not be the best way. I called them and asked them. They told me to bring the paperwork or whatever I got from the court. That's what they were telling me.
Yeah, they just need the police report now.
So if they just need the police report, at least we got something.
I mean, you can go and get the front page of a police report. I mean, but I don't know. But that's what you need to do. You need to go bring them a copy of the police report.
And that I have no problem doing it. So basically, like I said, he gets evicted, and like I said, in my heart, I'm like, everybody, I can't call up.
Wait a minute. When you say he gets evicted, I thought he's deported.
He got deported, but whoever was staying there or whatever group was staying there got evicted. Because I'm like, I know this is just a den or haven of criminal activity. Okay, 9 months later, these people did a file for the eviction. The judge gave.
Which judge was that?
Dale Goskinski,
Okay.
Precinct 1, Harris County. Then all of a sudden, this case has a real strange twist. These same individuals, even though he's gone by ICE or he's out the country, his supposed wife, who he got married to by Judge Dale Goskinski in 2011, which would not make this house part of community property. He bought the house in 2001. But she says that she's his wife. Okay. She never appeals the default judgment, never puts up a bond for the default judgment. She refiles the case just like if it's a new case. And it's not. I had already
Filed a case to do what?
To evict me from the house. Oh, yes, it gets crazier. Me, if he's an illegal immigrant, why didn't they check her status and her mother's status? Because they've been using my name. When I say they've been using my name, they've been using my name.
Not your name, your Social Security number.
my Social Security number. All over. I mean, if I call up the electric company, I got this. If I call up the gas company,
Wow.
I'm all from this, And then the judge, the clerks.
Well, so on the light bill, that's still your Social Security number?
Oh, yeah, he had.
Well, then it has to be him. Then it can't be the bank. I mean, it can't be like the realtor wrote it on there because the realtor
No,
wouldn't
it's
do
him.
that.
Oh, yeah, it's him.
So it's got to be him doing it.
Nobody got to rely on
But see, if you'd have taken all of that to the DA's office, they would have charged him.
I thought they did charge him.
Well, you just missed. Let me see. When did they say this happened? Oh, 2000.
They brought it back up to date because it's been going on a long time.
I have to check what the statute of limitations is for identity theft. Had they told
They
you?
said the statutes are 4 years.
But, so they had charged it too long before anyway, right?
No, well, really, they closed the case out, like you said, in probably about 2012. So it's been almost 4 years.
But when he actually did it, they said it was 2001.
Right.
So that's why I got no bill, because that's more than 4 years. 2001 to 2004 years is 2005. So how could they charge him with something?
I don't.
Yeah, so I think that maybe it was a statute of limitations problem.
I don't know what it was. My thing was, let me know. Because my thing is, this person here, if I tell you he's living better than an average American citizen, I'm telling you he's living better than an average American citizen.
Well, just stealing, period. I mean, you know, if you're
But
stealing
he's taking it to another. And my thing is, I know it's got to be somebody else. Because when I listen to the way he talked,
Does he speak English?
it's not too good.
But you can hear
You
it.
can
You can
understand it,
okay.
but that's not a person that's gonna have those kind of skills, I don't think, to go off in a computer system or do this and that. And it sure is not gonna be a person that could be able to come up with fill out a Social Security affidavit at the DPS. How would you know how to do that?
Right.
And that particular affidavit just got created in 2002. He bought the house in 2001. This Social Security affidavit basically says if you do not have a Texas driver's license, you can get a Texas driver's license with this document right here.
Okay.
It's a Social Security affidavit. They were contacted by Jeff Boney and them when they wrote the original story of Who Stole My Identity.
Wow.
Because we want to know, just like anybody else should want to know, why would you create a document to give a illegal immigrant? If you give somebody a driver's license, that will make, who's going to question your citizenship if you got a Texas driver's license? Nobody.
Right.
Nobody's going to do it. How he got a hold of this, to this day, I don't know, because I'm like, this is not something a normal individual would know how to come about to get it.
Right, right. It is peculiar.
If I have it in my possession, that tells you I know a little something that an average person doesn't know.
Well, it means that somebody guided you through it. Someone that's
Exactly.
helping illegal immigrants get steal people's Social Security numbers. I mean, that's basically what they're doing.
There you go.
It's a ring of people that are doing that.
And that's exactly what I'm saying, because just like the person was telling me, when we came across this document, he said, this is the most dangerous document here. He said, because your driver's license number is linked to your Social Security number.
Right.
Now that's a problem. That's for real.
So are you saying that the guy ended up getting a driver's license?
Yes, ma'am.
Even though your Social Security was already linked to it? So how would they give a second?
He used this document here to get his driver's license.
But how could he do that?
I don't know.
Let me ask the question. How could he get that? Okay, well, in my mind, I'm wondering how he can get, I'm not saying you can answer the question, but in my mind, I'm wondering if you already have a driver's license that you've had for the last, 25 years, before 2001, that's already linked to your Social Security number, then how can someone use your Social Security number to get another one? Because now they have two Social Security numbers. That should be some kind of red flag.
But this particular document says you haven't been assigned or given a Social Security number.
Okay.
That's what this document says. That's kind of crazy, because if you go to the Texas, people coming out of prison.
Now, how do you know he filled that out? Because you don't have the one that he did, so how do you just
Yes, I
assuming
do.
that? Oh, you do? Okay, gotcha.
Yes, yeah, I do. This is
got
just
you.
a blank one.
Okay.
But yeah, I have the one he did. And like I said, this basically says you go up in there, you illegal immigrant, you tell them you don't have a Social
Well, it
Security.
doesn't matter if you're illegal. What if you are legal? You can still fake somebody's ID, right?
Yeah, I guess. That's
I'm
another
just
way.
saying.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I'm just saying. I don't want to focus on illegal immigrants because it doesn't matter. Anybody can steal somebody's identity.
Yeah,
I could have a Social Security number and still use yours. You see what I'm saying? I mean, that's how people use other people's IDs. Is they actually steal other people's identity to get credit cards and all that. Most people doing it are American. They do it to other Americans.
He has. When I say he has taken.
So the question is not how can an illegal immigrant. It's just how can a person do that. Period. Because the safeguards are not against illegal. Because illegal. I mean, people don't know if people here are legal or not. But
That's what I was saying.
right. But I'm just saying. But any fake person. I'm just saying person X, whether they're legal, not legal, whatever, that uses your ID is wrong. Period. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And whoever they are, it still needs to match. If I go close in a house and I use your ID, it needs to be my name on that credit report. It doesn't matter if I'm John Smith or Vivian King. Vivian King should come up with that Social Security number, even though I am legal. You see what I'm saying? So I'm just saying it doesn't matter that he's illegal. It just matters that he's a thief. You see what I'm saying? Because anybody can be a thief, and obviously he's working with people who are Americans who know the American system.
Exactly. And
So they're stealing people too. They're stealing people too.
Like I said, shows.
And you don't really know if the Edgar Linares that was deported is even his name.
And it's not.
Right.
It's not. That's why I contacted the bondsman, because the bondsman had two names when he bonded him out of jail. I'm like, why would you do that?
Wow.
And I have all those documents. They all. I got them. Yeah.
Well, I'm impressed that you have them. I'm just still frustrated that you didn't use all of that to go get your own, get you a new driver's license. That's what you need. Your new Social Security number.
And I definitely need
Because you can get one. I've been told that you can get one. I've never had to try to do that because I have been a victim of some identity theft, but I didn't have to get a new Social Security number. But no one's actually just stolen my identity and bought no house like that. That's major.
Yeah, it's so many.
So have you been able to buy a house?
No.
Because of this?
Because of this, no.
Wow.
Yeah, no.
Wow.
And matter of fact, how this came out again, like I said, in 05 I was going to buy a house, and I think 2010, 2011 I was going to buy, I tried to buy another house, and the same mess came up. I walked off in Wells Fargo. They weren't even worried about the loan, the home loan. They were worried about some kind of commercial loan he had.
Well, that's why I'm just saying that you've been such a victim that you have got to try to go to that Social Security office. You've got to do
I
that.
will. Like you say, instead of calling, I will go in person this time because, like I say, it's not just they're using the social, they're using the name because the name and the social match up with each other. And what you said earlier.
What name and social?
I see your name and your social match up.
They have to match up.
They have to match up.
Right.
And like I said, I've never run, like I said, the justice system on this case here, it's been so crazy, it's just unbelievable. Everybody I talk to, and nobody will answer, every time I ask this one question, if, nobody's going, your Social Security number is the most valuable number you'll have in life because it accesses everything.
Right.
That's it. Like I said, it's no way around it. If either you have it or you don't.
Right. Well, promise me after tonight, that you will take some time tomorrow or the next day to go to the Social Security office with all of that. But you do need to copy all of it because you need to keep it. Because if you give it to them, you'll never get it back.
Oh, yes,
okay?
I don't
and
know.
so you need to take that to Kinko's, get someone to make a copy of that disc for you.
Yes,
even if you have to put it on a flash drive or just make another disc and give that to them.
Yes,
to give them that whole file, get you a file number with the Social Security office and go through the process. But don't give them your original documents. You won't get it back.
Yes.
But you do need to have that police report, the original police report number from when you reported it to HPD, in addition to this. Like I said, this has the police report number on it. So whenever charges are filed, the agency is there. It says HCSO, which is Harris County Sheriff's Office, the OR, which is offense report number. So this number is here on him using your thing. Okay, so you definitely need to give him this.
Yes.
Because that's where they show he was charged with using your identity.
Yes.
Okay, so this is your sheriff's department. This is the police report as you're the victim of the crime on here. Okay.
Yes.
And then, if HPD gave you one when you first reported it to WAMU, then you need to do that too, because WAMU doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, they don't exist anymore.
So, but at least you have that document. So make copies of all of those things to do that. Man, this is a crazy, crazy story.
Oh.
And especially about LifeLock. I'm really surprised about LifeLock. What else interesting has happened on this case?
Like I said, the case, it's turned so much with the justice system, and it seemed like when we went to court on the eviction, paperwork started coming up missing. And only 2 people can deal with paperwork in the court system, and this sounds crazy.
But were you making copies? That's what I'm trying to tell you.
I always.
if you turn anything into the courts or the
Right.
Social Security office, you make sure you have copies.
I was making copies, but it was like when the original judgment, when they gave me the house, it come up almost missing for 2 years. The people took me to court. Went and got a board certified attorney.
Wow.
And like I said, I don't know
To keep something that they stole, use a stolen identity for, they got a board certified lawyer?
Yes, a board certified attorney. This man has been practicing for 33 years.
Give me that letter. So you've been dealing with this for 15 years. This is crazy.
Well, it really got on the hot seat, like I said, in 2012. But they went and got a board certified attorney. And this man, I don't know if he's a family member, because no attorney is going to put his livelihood on the line to defend somebody that he knows is doing criminal activity. He knows that it was illegal to start with in this country. He knows this. He even said that in open court.
Did you tell this lawyer that The guy was using your identity?
The lawyer knows. He's been their lawyer all along. When he bonded out of jail, the bondsman pointed me to this attorney and said, this is where your problem is at.
Wow.
Okay. And I said, and from that day on, and when I say this man will do anything, and I agree, you know, it's some good attorneys and some great attorneys.
Yeah, but one of the things you need to also do is you need to send a certified letter to that lawyer and tell him to cease and desist allowing your client, anybody, to use your Social Security number. I mean, you need to give him, and you need to send him a copy of that indictment and say, you cease and desist using my Social Security number, and you keep a green card of that on file, because you do need to give him notice. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm just saying that's what I would do.
I greatly.
You need to first try to get you a new Social Security number.
Yeah,
you need to start the process, because it's going to be a process.
I agree. These people have people in place. When I filed this grievance or whatever on this particular, they got it one day and ruled it on the next day and said that it wasn't a grievance. And I'm like, I'm sitting up here trying to fight for my life. This is my Social Security number.
Right, and the reason why it's not a grievance is because he's not your lawyer.
Right.
You can only file a grievance on your lawyer. He doesn't represent you.
Well,
Listen to me clearly.
Okay.
There's a process, and one of the hardest things about being a criminal lawyer, Dexter, is that people tell the lawyers how the process should be instead of finding out what the process is. You can only file a complaint on the lawyer that you've paid to do work for you and that didn't do the work that you paid them to do, okay? So you don't have a contractual or any kind of relationship to that lawyer. That lawyer, Ralph Martinez, has a relationship with his client, okay? It's public record, it doesn't matter. But he has a record, he has a relationship with his client. I know him. He has a relationship with his client, not with you. But you can't file a complaint against him, but you can get a new identity, because you know that lawyer has been told a story by his client, and he might believe it, and it's not the truth.
Well,
you see what I'm saying? Our clients lie to us all the time. So how would I know whether my client is lying to me or not? Well, I've never talked to the victim like you. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
As a part of my practice, if I have a victim in a crime, I try to reach out and talk to them if they'll talk to me, so that I can get a better understanding, so I can help both sides. I can help my client do the right thing in the future. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, if you reached out to him, you have his address, and told him to cease and desist allowing your client to use my Social Security number that's in this criminal charge, and send him that highlighted like you gave me, that he is not going to do anything to perpetuate that. I'm telling you that now, but his duty is to his client.
Right. And my whole thing is, I appreciate that so much, because and
that's what I'm trying to say. That's why I have this show, is to educate people about the criminal justice system. So you can't decide what it is. You see what I'm saying? You can't decide that you can file a grievance on a lawyer because, or you can, but that's not, you can't. So when you badmouth the state bar and say that they're not doing anything, it's because they can only do something about relationships that people enter into, and somebody didn't follow through with the relationship. You see what I'm saying? You don't have a relationship with that lawyer.
None at all.
And so to say that they didn't do anything, you went to the wrong person. I mean, that's not who can do anything. It has to be the police. And then from there, you need to just get you a new number, so that gangster can keep that number of yours that he's abused. Okay, because he's a gangster that's abused it. So you need to find your own Social Security. You need to get a new one and do what you need to do to get that done. And unfortunately, you should have done that way back in 2001. You see what I mean? And then you would have had 15 years of misery.
And that's exactly what it is, because I was going to say, if you're calling and trying to get help,
well, you got to stop calling.
And
you got to go to people in person.
You got to start doing it in person.
And when you go in person, you find out the name of the person you're talking to. You write it on your file, and you know the date and the time that you went, so that you can follow up. And then if you need to go over their head to their supervisor, next time you go back to Social Security, you ask to speak to a supervisor and say, I've been waiting 6 weeks, and I talked to John Smith on May 12, 2016, and I've not gotten any response. What are you going to do? And from there, if you give it a couple months and no one's done anything, then you call your congressperson, because Congress is in charge of any federal office, and federal is what gives your Social Security number, okay? And so, like, for example, my congressperson is Sheila Jackson Lee. But you don't go straight to her, because you haven't gone through the administrative agency yet. So you start with them, and you give them a few months and ask them, how long will this take? And then you go back, and then you talk to a supervisor next time, but you document the name of the person so they won't think that you're a quack, and that you really didn't do it. You see what I'm saying? That's the way you take care of that business. You just got to get out of that, because you you can't stalk this man because they've cheated on you. You got to just get out of it. You know, you got to just get you a new identity so you can buy your own house
And move on with life.
and move on with life, because you're 48 and you've been thwarted from doing everything since you were what, 33?
Yeah, it's been a struggle because, like you said, everything that you do, people are accessing your Social Security number. I don't care what you do. They may not tell you. They're gonna.
Because what I think when people are doing this Social Security fraud, they're just picking random numbers. It's not like they know who you are. I think they pick a random number. Now, even if they pick a random number, they might go and look on the computer and do a credit check to see if that person has bought a house. And if they've never bought one, then they use yours. You see what I'm saying? But I think they're picking numbers. They don't know who they're getting.
But what I would like to know, I'm not a banker or anything like that. But if somebody walks in a bank at 23, talking about buying a house, usually to buy a house you need at least 2 to 5 years of credit. If you take 5 from 23, that's 18 years old. Most people, you know, that's why I said it just red flag. I don't know if they just found
It is strange. You would think so, but let me just share something with you. I bought my first house at 21. Okay, so I'm just saying, so that's really not a red flag because I was out of college and I had a professional good job. So I'm just saying, at 21 I bought one. So the age is really not the issue. The issue is, and you could, because that would be age discrimination. The issue is verifying that the person's number goes with the identification that's there. And somebody, he had some inside help.
Oh, definitely. He had inside help he had inside help all the way around. Because I'm like, if you mess up at the mortgage company, the title company, the bank, somebody's supposed to catch that.
Somebody should have caught that.
Somebody's supposed, I don't care, you go to a closing, the closing got a lot of paperwork. A lot of paperwork.
That. Now, you're right about that. Somebody should have caught that. That's their point. That's what they do.
Yeah, that's their job.
Their job.
If you got a title company, basically a title company, all you're there to do is verify. That's it. That is what a title company verify, sign this document. That's what a title company does. So if you do mess up at the title company, the bank is not going to be at fault because they're going to say, well, you know, we did ours and you were supposed to do, you know, it's just a contract thing. So
wow.
Everything, like I say, it's been amazing. I've been looking for, like, you know, it's a lot of companies involved, and in this particular case, a lot of people are embarrassed. A lot of companies are embarrassed behind this person's act. But my thing is, what you said made so much sense. How is it you run a credit check, and even in this CD, he tells them, you put if you got a whole nother credit file somewhere, and you got yours, like I said, my credit file says, no open accounts, but I got serious delinquencies.
Who interviewed him?
Deputy Lindsay and Cuevas.
So they did interview him. So
Yes,
you got that under the Open Records Act, or they just gave it to you?
Oh, yeah, Open Records Act. Yes.
Wow.
Yes, it's just amazing that, like I said, I'm not saying if you allow them, they will do it, because that's what's happened here. But this is a little bit too much.
Right.
Way too much for somebody to try to turn a blind side to this, and then for a judge, a well-known judge, to sit up here and allow an attorney to manipulate.
Now help me understand that, because I remember we want to educate. So if you're going to point the finger, I'm going to make you point it in the right direction. So who is the well-known? I mean, what do you mean? What did the judge let someone do?
Well,
So
basically,
you're assuming that Judge Mendoza allowed Attorney Martinez to do something?
no, we're going beyond that.
Okay, well tell me.
We started.
Call names if you do it. You have the freedom of speech. You can say whatever you want.
We started with Judge Mendoza with the no bill. Then we went to
But Judge Mendoza didn't do the no bill.
no, Judge Mendoza 178. That's where he got the no bill at.
Right. Okay, so let's talk about that first, though. So when we go to court in the 178th, like we went tomorrow,
Right.
the judge is sitting there presiding. Judge Mendoza is presiding over all the cases in his court. He can call a jury in if say, like if Mr. Lanier wanted to have a trial, he would call them in. But to have a trial, it already has to be indicted.
Right.
So there's 3 or 4 grand juries going on at once. All, judges have them going on, and it's 12 citizens who volunteered to sit for 3 months and hear probable cause on each case. So he organizes a grand jury, and they sit on the 2nd floor. Judge Mendoza's office is on the 19th floor, okay? So he's not with them.
Right.
So, and they're sitting there for 3 months doing their community service, being on a grand jury, and the DA's office, not the judge, is the only person that can come in there and present evidence to them. And the grand jurors have to decide, is it more probable than not that this happened? And then they either say yes and issue an indictment, or they say no and issue a no bill. Judge Mendoza knows nothing about what they're doing. He just got them to volunteer to come in, take an oath to administer a true verdict based on the law and the evidence that they got. And then he leaves them there on another floor with other judges, grand juries, to just listen. They're all together. It's like 3 or 4 grand juries going on at once at all time in Harris County, and they're just sitting there for 3 months while Judge Mendoza is there with dockets going on in his court all day, every day. 60 to 80 people coming through there, pleading guilty or not guilty, doing plea bargains. And if someone who has been indicted through that process has a trial, then he will panel 12 people to hear the evidence in that case after a case has been indicted. He has nothing to do with what they're doing. He couldn't even go and tell them to indict, not indict. He can't even walk in. It's a secret proceeding, and they only allow the DAs into that proceeding. Now, the exception is a defendant like Mr. Lanier, who was charged with this. He could have gone in there if they wanted to hear from him and he was willing to talk under oath. He could have gone in there. Defense lawyers can't even go in there, so Mr. Martinez couldn't go in there. Okay, I can't go in there if I have a client going to the grand jury. You see what I'm saying? So I don't want you to get fooled by when you say Judge Mendoza. It's just part of his responsibility to impanel grand juries, but you know he's not with them. So I just want you to be. I want that educational piece to be out there. So it is his grand jury, but he's not in the room.
Okay, that was the first step. Then the second step came with J.P. Del Gorskinsky.
Right. And so he's the one
here,
that married the guy to his wife, and
right.
He's also the one that you went through to get the eviction.
Right. And then the problem
and then evicted you.
Right. The problem was when they came back to evict me, they never appealed the original conviction. They never put up a bond or anything. The second eviction, we had 5 Hispanics and 1 white on the jury. Of course, Hispanic women don't buy houses. Hispanic men buy houses. Okay. That was that.
Okay. Well, that's a sexist statement. Okay.
But the majority of the time.
Yeah, the majority of the time. Because I do know Hispanic women who have houses.
And so do I, but I'm just saying majority because I did my homework and research and I asked some people.
Right. But in this case, the man bought it, not the woman. It's only his name on the mortgage.
Right. Exactly. And so what the problem was with the JP court was how were they able to come back 9 months later and never put up a bond, never appeal the original judgment?
And how did that happen?
To this day, we don't know.
And when you say we, who is that?
I said to this day, when I say
I mean, did you have some people on your side, like Pastor Nash? I mean, did somebody go up there with you? That's all I'm asking. Who's
I mean, we still don't know about that because basically when we called
did anybody ask the judge and ask him?
No.
Okay.
We asked the clerks.
Well, they
the
don't
clerk.
know.
Yeah, but how do you basically?
And what did they say? What
Nothing.
did the clerk say? They don't know? They didn't answer?
They say it was a mistake. But how is it a mistake?
Did you appeal it?
Yeah, I appealed it. Oh, you're going to love this one. Yes.
Okay, so what happened on the appeal?
We appealed it to County 1. Okay. This is Deborah Mayfield. What happened here?
Wait a minute, County 1, Deborah Mayfield. Yeah. Where is that?
Civil County.
Oh, Civil Court, County 1. I don't go in Civil Court,
She used to be, she's been moved. Ken Paxton gave her another position.
We have about 5 minutes.
Okay. Basically, the case, I didn't show up. It was supposed to be a default, but it wasn't a default because I had answered her. You know, when I appealed it, I had already told them this is fraud, blah, blah, blah. Ralph Martinez gets a default judgment because I didn't show up. They didn't want me to show up. I never received the paperwork ever for a court. I had an attorney, but I can't afford an attorney anymore.
Right, I understand.
And I had the attorney that defends the city of Houston. So like I say, I've done my due diligence.
Right, as best you can to try to protect your name. Now, it is time for you to get out of this. It's time for you to find a new identity.
Yeah, I've been trying to get out of it for a while.
Do you know who your congressperson is?
Yes, ma'am.
Who is that?
Sheila Jackson Lee.
Okay, well, you might need to call her office too. But I would wait and first try to, if you don't have any luck trying to get a new Social Security number, then you go to her.
Yes.
Okay, but don't start with her because that's not her job. Her job is to write laws for us in D.C.
I hope
but she can
write some new laws with this right here.
Well, the laws can't help you now because the laws can't prevent thieves, but there should be provisions for identity theft. You know what I'm saying? To get you a new so you can rebuild your identity.
Yes, ma'am.
Because it's already been raped and misused and compromised. I mean, they've raped your identity, and you've had 15 years where you can't move. Basically, you can't do anything because your identity is stuck out there you know, in the thieving world. And so now you can't do anything to move it around. Well, we have 3 minutes, according to my director. So tell me what you've learned. Take all the time you want to tell me what you've learned and what you want people to know about protecting their identities.
Well, what I've learned that your Social Security number, as I stated, is the most important number that you will have in life. They need to change the laws in regards to your Social Security number. It needs to be like restricted, limited, and unlimited. Maybe it depends on what kind of occupation or whatever. They need to change the laws because this case right here is not a normal identity theft case. Nobody is going to sit up here and go steal all this stuff from you and attempt to keep it. Like I said, I did come across a presidential order that says they, you know, it was orders signed back in 2006 that said that they have a task force and you can recover the proceeds from all this. Most identity theft victims do not know about this. I hope I can be a symbol of hope some kind of way. Maybe we can do some Protect Me workshops, something free. You know, you can come out and I can tell you how I did everything and show you how I did it.
But I'm not going to, you're not ready yet. I'm going to interrupt you to talk until you fix yours.
Oh, yeah,
until you get a new identity.
I got to fix mine.
If it's still broken after 15 years, we have to finish our educational journey before we start talking about it.
Yeah.
Because what people do need to know more than anything is if their identity is stolen, they need to report it to the police, they need to create a file, and they need to make a second copy, and they need to take that to the Social Security office. They need to document who they talked to, and if they don't get results in 6 weeks, they need to go back and get the name of the supervisor, and if they don't get results in 6 more weeks, then they need to contact their congressperson. Okay, that's what needs to happen.
Yes, ma'am.
And follow the procedures that need to be followed to get that done. So will you promise me that you will do that?
Yes, ma'am, I will. Trust me, I will. I mean, I've done, you know, like I say, any information, any help I can get, I've used it to try to help myself.
Right.
And I hope, like I said, I hope this will be the end of the road in regards to this. I hope this TV show will help somebody help me to make sure this is done.
Right.
That's the key.
Well, let's thank Dexter Evans for volunteering to tell his story of 15 years of being the victim of identity theft. When it looks like a slick lawyer got him off, got the defendant off that stole his identity. We never got to the bottom of it, but let's all pray and hope that Dexter can go to the Social Security office and take all of his proof and get a new Social Security number so that he can someday buy a house. Dexter has never been in trouble. He's 48. He'll be 49 in June of 2016, and his whole life has been ruined in terms of trying to use his identity. So Dexter, thank you for telling us your story. It's an awful story. And if this doesn't work out for you, you know, I will, anybody that I can help you contact, I will do that. But I think the path that I've given you is the right path. Thank you for watching Truth and Justice with Vivian King.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for tuning in again. Tonight we have something really good, a hot topic in the news this week. He's been charged with crime. This is a show where I try to educate real stories.